Hello, I'm Charlotte Streepatma. The Israeli military says it's agreed to help evacuate babies from Gaza's main hospital, the Al-Shifa, where conditions have become desperate while fighting continues outside. Local officials said 2 premature babies had died there for a lack of power, and overnight the World Health Organization has warned that it has lost communication with the hospital in Gaza City. A surgeon there previously told the BBC the hospital had run out of water, food and electricity, and that the intensive care unit had been struck. Meanwhile, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reiterated that the war in Gaza will continue until Hamas is destroyed and all hostages are free. We start with a report from the BBC's Nick Beake in Jerusalem.
The battlefield that is northern Gaza, illuminated by the latest bombardment from Israel overnight. The country has vowed to wipe out Hamas. Thousands of Palestinian civilians have been killed in the process. Some of the biggest fears remain for those who sought shelter in Gaza's hospitals. Israeli forces say they're clashing with Hamas fighters, who they claim are in bases underneath the buildings. The Israelis say they're not targeting hospitals or civilians. One doctor in the south of Gaza described what it was like for his colleagues in the north at the biggest hospital in the territory.
The situation in Shifa hospital now are very critical. Nothing happened like this before. There is direct targeting of the hospital buildings. So our colleagues there, they barely communicate with the outside community. They are feeling that like they are facing death without any help and support.
The Israeli military says today it will move out more than 30 newborn babies from the Al-Shifa hospital. This was one of the wards a few days ago. Doctors have said the neonatal intensive care unit has stopped working because of a lack of electricity. Outside, Israel's ground offensive in northern Gaza intensifies. Many Palestinians have been forced to flee to the south, but others have stayed, and lots fear they're now trapped amid the fighting.
IDF forces have completed the encirclement of Gaza City. They are operating in the heart of the city. They are on the outskirts of Shifa Hospital. They eliminated thousands of terrorists, including senior commanders and many murderers who were among those who led this terrible massacre on the cursed Saturday of October the 7th.
Hamas took more than 200 hostages during their attacks on the 7th of October. Once again in the city of Tel Aviv, families of the kidnapped called on the Israeli government to do more to try to secure their release.
I came here to shout for my kidnapped parents, which are already 35 days not here with us, kidnapped in Gaza. We don't know their situation and we need them to be released immediately.
Back in Gaza, the hospital's overwhelmed, with dire warnings of what could happen next. Nick Beake, BBC News, Jerusalem.
And Nick joins us now from Jerusalem. Nick, evacuating babies from Al-Shifa is not going to be an easy task, is it?
Good morning, Vishala. No, it won't be. I mean, trying to move some of the youngest patients from intensive care is a very delicate process at the best of times. But we've got to remind ourselves that this hospital, which is the biggest in Gaza, is right on the front line of the fighting now. The Al-Shifa hospital has seen fierce clashes between Hamas and Israel, and so what they're trying to do today is extremely difficult. We haven't got a huge amount of detail about what will take place. Israel says that it wants to help in the evacuation of the babies who've been in the neonatal unit, which apparently has lost electricity. There are reports that already 2 babies have died. The BBC was sent a photograph late last night, which appeared to show more than 20 babies who are wrapped up and have been placed on a hospital bed. And the medics who sent the photo basically said that these babies desperately needed oxygen and that they'd been not able to have that in the hours before the photo was taken. And they say this illustrated the urgency of the situation. Speaking to people in the hospital was difficult, but last night we did get a sense that it was not quite clear how this operation would take place. So certainly we wait, and of course lots of other people wait to see what exactly will happen this morning with this attempted evacuation of these babies. It's reported 37 babies are there and needed needed to be moved to safety. Of course, the head of the hospital, the head of surgery, says actually the priority should be resuming power to the unit where they were being cared for. That would be the best thing for these young patients.
Nick, thank you very much for that update. Nick Beake, our correspondent in Jerusalem there.